The Gambia Red Cross Society on Thursday conducted an evaluation session at Kanilai in the West Coast region to review steps taken in the implementation of the Population Movement Disaster Relief Fund Emergency Fund. Now, draft operation provided humanitarian assistance to over 1,000 households within the area following the armed conflict between the Senegalese army and MFDC rebels group of Casamas at the beginning of the year. Moses Imendi has the details in this report.
When the armed conflict between the Senegalese army and the MFDC rebel group of Casamans broke out on January 24, resulting in bullet exchanges and sporadic shelling by conflicting factions. It spurred an outflow of persons, culminating in population displacement and instability in villages along the Foni and Casamance border. In response to the skirmish, the Gambia Red Cross Society initiated a Population Movement Disaster Relief Fund operation with a commitment to provide humanitarian needs to affected people in the emergency situation. 6 months on, the humanitarian organization, together with beneficiaries, are on a lessons learned session to review successes and constraints of the operation, document gaps and areas of improvement, as well as garner feedback. Andrew Jaju, Grcs Disaster Management Coordinator, explained that the Red Cross Society was coerced to take action by the volatile situation at the time, and elaborated on the objectives of the operation.
Approval of these funds, these draft applications were given without qualms to the Gambia Red Cross Society by the IFRC headquarters in Geneva. This went through various Red Cross networks. This includes the IFRC cluster office in Dhaka and the IFRC regional IFRC delegation in Nairobi. By these procedures, remittance of exactly over $19 million, was made to the Gambia Red Cross Society to implement the emergency plan of action for the Foni operations, for the Foni emergency operations. In a similar evolution, the International Committee of the Red Cross, that's the ICRC, whose main function, among many others, is to respond to war and armed conflict situations, also provided funds to the National Society to the tune of over $860,000 for livelihood support. With these funds in totality, the Gambia Red Cross Society successfully managed to respond to provide humanitarian assistance to 932 affected households, a total of 9,973 people.
Over 1,000 households in the Foni region and nearly 10,000 internally displaced persons benefited from the operation between January and June. The first draft operation was activated in January when the conflict first erupted, and in March following a restart of the armed conflict. Affected households and communities received financial assistance, essential household items, psychosocial support, emergency ambulance services, as well as health and first aid services. Cash transfer to beneficiaries was done via Q Money. Jato S. Silla, president of the Gambia Red Cross Society, commended partner institutions who offered support through GRCS and explained that the session is to provide recommendations to improve on humanitarian responses in the future. Mr. Silla also spoke of the steps taken to implement the humanitarian operation.
The Gambian Red Cross Society, with all the support from partners, has, among many, jointly assessed the needy and verified the households that are eligible for support. Provisional of unconditional cash to over 1,382 affected families involving host families, and distribution of goods and beddings for households affected. As mentioned, hygiene kits were among the package distributed and hygiene promotion activities. Free community medical service and provision of psychological support to affected families has been very, very eminent and was highly needed.
He elaborated on the Red Cross Society's will to continue strengthening humanitarian partnerships, Sarah Bricio, Technical Assistant for DREF, IFRC Sahel Cluster, is impressed by the good work and assured her institution's support to the Red Cross.
We are here to support you through mechanisms like the DREF, because we know the good work that you do to meet the urgent and immediate needs of those affected by the Foni crisis, in addition to the other activities that you conduct. The second point that I want to make is to reiterate the objectives of a workshop like this one. The Lessons Learned workshop is to establish, of course, to what extent the DREF operation was relevant and what results were achieved, as well as the successes and, importantly, also the challenges, so that we can inform future operations.
The unrest caused a population displacement of over 23,000 people, while affecting a total of 48 villages in the region. Ibrahima Bojang, Alcalo of Balen, speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, thanked the Red Cross Society for its bravery in the drive to deliver humanitarian needs during times of need. Through IFRC, international partners bankrolled over 20 million Gambian dollars to the Gambia Red Cross Society to implement the DREF operation in Foni. Moses Imende, Eyeafrica News.